you're a big fan of produce, right?
I like food.
You like vegetables. You like fruits.
Yeah.
You like things that grow out the ground.
Yeah. I like trying to take care of us.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of plants out there that I enjoy, like
one
Mary Jane be one of them.
One plant that you really enjoy.
That I'm a big
the rest
fan
of them,
of.
not so much.
But I mean, I like fruits, and there's certain vegetables that I'm a fan of. Not many of them, but I think produce is pretty cool. And honestly, I'm glad that we're where we are now. I'm glad that certain things that people use to make produce, we don't. One of my best friends actually had a grandfather who was, during the times of the Korean War, stationed in France. Okay, how he ended up with that spot, I have no clue, but he told us about how horrible it was to drive through the fields or around the fields in Paris because they used doo-doo. They used people's doo-doo as fertilizer.
I was not following.
And he said it was one of the most rank, awful things that he's ever experienced, was just driving past the fields in France and smelling just
maybe
turds.
It's probably not a thing, because I read an article like that was being done in China, like I don't know, like 10 years ago or something.
All I know is that man's firsthand experience was not something I wanted to envision.
There was one time that I went out to like help my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of those people who really likes to try to keep his lawn really nice.
Oh yeah.
And like that's like a thing. And I was like 6. And I was just out there fucking barehanded, and he handed me this thing to help spread out, and I was like doing it, and I was like, this dirt fucking stinks. And I was like, what is this? And my brother turned around and he's like, that's cow shit or horse shit or something. And I was like, yeah.
I just made a pie out of it. Yeah, terrible. For me, I've never been around any of that. You've
never worked with manure?
No.
Oh, okay.
If so, it was outside of my knowledge, and I don't ever want to know. But I would imagine that's going to be brought up in this.
Yes. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of, because now our produce isn't as great, like with magnesium deficiency in the soil. Like we're not getting as many nutrients as we should.
Right.
So that's where my mind went with produce now versus then. Anyway,
I guess we're gonna find out, because we're about to get educated by the Salmonella Academy.
Hey kids, you've probably seen this scene in TV or movies at some point. A couple of people end up stranded on a desert island, totally isolated from all civilization. It seems like there's no hope for survival, but then one of them looks 3 feet to the left and, oh my god, it's a tree
banana.
full of fully grown, plump, delicious, smiling, golden-skinned bananas. Amazing. We're saved for the time being. Hey, don't eat those. They're made of lies. See? Listen, why do fruit exist? For a delicious, nutritious snack for humans and animals alike to enjoy? You didn't have to go throwing him into the sun like that. You're next, Susan! How did you know my name? I created you. Anyway, as most of you probably know, fruit are a thing because nature figured out, hey, if you put a little bit of deliciousness around your seed, it'll convince some idiot bird or something to carry your baby off to faraway lands, right? But then humans showed up and were like, hey, that's pretty nifty. Listen, is it cool if we selectively breed you for thousands of years to give you horrific deformities to crank up the whole deliciousness part a couple hundred notches? Alright, cool. Let's take a look at bananas, specifically the Cavendish variety that we all know and love. On the inside, we got like 2% seeds, 93% delectable banana meat, and 5% that brown part at the bottom that your mom says is perfectly fine to eat, but you still don't trust. Great for a snack. terrible for reproducing efficiently. Meanwhile, check out the thing on the right here. That's Musa acuminata, one of the suspected ancestors of today's nanners. Much smaller and jam-packed with seeds, with just enough flesh in there to make it worth some smelly primate's time to crack open a yellow one with the boys. Here's another wild type banana, Musa balbesiana. Less sweet, way starchier, harder to get into, hella seeds, same shit different day really.
Hella seeds.
If you stick that boy in the ground, you've got an okay chance of making a new banana tree. You bury a modern banana, all you're gonna end up with is a dirty banana. And not that one club in Miami, I mean an actual dirty banana. That's because, like a lot of cultivated fruit, culinary
today's banana
are malformed that they can't produce offspring even if they wanted to.
Oh
so
my
word
God.
of advice for you men out there, if ever a lady points out how poorly endowed you are, just show her this JPEG. She'll say, wow, I didn't realize it was so potent and fertile. You really opened my eyes. Thank you. Bananas aren't the only piece of produce to follow this pattern though, not by a long shot. For example, take the watermelon. According to Monsanto, everybody's favorite corporation, the first evidence of human cultivation of the watermelon dates back to Egypt around 5,000 years ago. Back then, they were only 2 inches in diameter, around the size of a tennis ball. The flesh was supposedly tough and bitter, much like that of a tennis ball. Of course, just as the growth of a delicious green baby takes time, so too did the evolution of the modern watermelon. In fact, even as late as the mid-1600s, watermelons looked way different from what we have today, as shown by this painting by Giovanni Stanchi. Notice the thicker rind, the larger seeds, and the weird segmentation on the inside. Definitely a cooler still life subject, but ultimately inferior as a summertime snack. How about vegetables? Tell me, do you enjoy cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, broccoli, or cauliflower? I mean, I guess I like broccoli and cauliflower. The rest are kind of gross though. Wrong! All 6 of these vegetables are actually the same thing. That means you like them all. That's not how that works. I'll be good. Anyway, these veggies are all just cultivars of the same species, Brassica oleracea, otherwise known as wild cabbage. Every part of the plant is edible to some extent, but there's not much of it to go around. So a bunch of different people throughout history said, alright, what if we just take one specific part of the plant and go fucking insane with it? And that's what they did. Those who bred for giant leaves got kale, going for huge dense flower buds gets you broccoli, juicy engorged lateral leaf buds equal Brussels sprouts, etc. Speaking of segues, let's check out eggplants. The OG eggplant was first domesticated in India, where it can still be found in the wild today. It looks nothing like an eggplant though. They actually resemble little green berries the size of grapes. The only thing it seems to have in common with the classic purple eggplant is how little both of them have in common with an egg. However, if we add the RGB percentage values of their color and merge their shapes, we do get what looks approximately like an egg, so I guess that solves that mystery. This whole transformation really is a testament to man's greatness though. That's like starting out with a frog and selectively breeding them until you end up with Grimace from McDonald's. Speaking of which, did you know Grimace used to be evil and have 4 arms? This is a real thing.
No.
I'd like to think that when they lopped off his extra limbs, all his evil energy went with him. And now there's just 2 plump purple
evil
cylinders
purple
scampering
arms
around the countryside waiting to pull unsuspecting kids under ball pits, never to be seen again. That's just my McDonald's headcanon though. Anyway, back to whatever we were talking about. Next is corn, or sorry, maize. I call it corn like a normal person. If it was supposed to be called maize, these would be called mazes. Obviously, that's like the perfect opportunity, but they're not, so put an etymological sock in it. Or stocking. Anyway, I was totally expecting old corn to look like those baby corns you find in Chinese food and literally nowhere else. Turns out those actually are just baby corns. One suspected ancestor of corn is known as teosinte, which looks like this. Gee whiz, Sam, that sure does look like garbage. Good eye, Billy. That's because it was garbage. Whereas modern corn has a kernel count in the hundreds, teosinte only has 5 to 12, with each one being encased in a hard shell that's basically impossible to get into short of boiling it or chipping a tooth. The fact that people decided to domesticate it in the first place makes sense once you realize that most grains are basically the same thing. But honestly, that just makes me wish people figured out how to turn a piece of wheat into a big chunk of whatever to gnaw on. This whole thing disappointed me so much that I actually moved it to the top of my list of reasons not to visit the Mayans if I ever get a time machine. Nonetheless, as you can see, human endeavor can accomplish amazing things. Anyway, till next time, I'm Sam and Ella, and thank you for watching.
Wow, I had no idea that broccoli, kale, I mean a bunch of vegetables were taken from one plant originally.
I did not either. And we were both wrong about what we thought that this was going to be about.
Yeah, there was no talk about
poo.
Using doo-doo.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, but tells you how childlike my humor is. And
me, there's not enough magnesium in the soil, Chad.
Poop.
Human poop.
Poop. Well, that was a story from one of my best
Yes.
friend's grandfather who had,
Ugh.
yeah, he said it was a not pleasant experience.
I
Which
would
honestly,
imagine.
even when you drive by like regular, manure that they use from like cows and horses and farm animals and stuff, it still is rank.
Yeah.
It still is awful.
Yeah,
But I
it
couldn't
stinks.
imagine like a bunch of poop derived from baguettes and escargot. It probably wasn't the greatest smelling shit. Anyway,
Some French person.
Yeah.
How dare you?
oh shit doesn't stink. That was a British accent,
Yeah.
but anyway,
And it wouldn't be in English either, but
fuck me, right?
people cussing in the
Alright.
comments.
Anyway, Salmonella Academy once again educating us to the point where we understand a little bit of something in a little
Yeah.
sarcastic, creative way. So thank you once again for putting out some awesome content, even though this video is, I don't even know how many years old at this point. It is from 2018,
Yeah.
so very nice. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go subscribe to Salmonella's
Yes.
channel. He just recently put out a video not too long ago,
Yes.
so you never know when that's going to happen. This one was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. If you enjoyed our reaction to it, you can give us a like, subscribe to the channel. You could even recommend a video for us to react to in the future.
Yes, you can do that down in the comments on our Patreon, our Twitch, our Discord. We go live on our Twitch every Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's a lot of fun. It's what we're doing right now, actually. So if you want to join in on the fun, hang out with a bunch of rambling folks that we got, like Monopolis, the Murky Kraken, Chavez, Dr. Dale, to name a few.
Yeah.
Come on, hang out with us. Like Nikki said, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. We'll be right there on Twitch, but you got to follow us.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into this video, and we will see you next
See you
time.
guys.